Ray Dau is a monster that the community has been loving, me included. And the moment I saw him in the trailers, I knew I was gonna like him. And that was just kind of it, if I'm being honest. I saw him, I liked him, I thought he was cool, and then that was gonna be it. It wasn't until I saw this comment on one of my videos, thank you by the way, that pointed out that whenever he shot lightning from his head, it was so hot that it essentially created glass. Because you pointed it out, it made me think, okay, wait, hold on, that's actually really impressive for a monster. And with that, it led to the result of this video. How strong is Ray Dau? And you're probably thinking it's actually pretty hard to like gauge how strong he is, considering we've only really seen him interact with one monster, that being the bear. But what he has shown us, and with a little bit of research, I'm confident to say that he's probably one of the most strong non-Elder Dragon monsters to date in the main series, not Frontier, because holy shit, that's a clusterfuck. I'll be talking about his feats, what makes him special, and how many apex creatures he could destroy. His only really good feat is obviously when he shoots lightning from his head, but I can touch on like a few things I'd like to, mention. He seems to have very sharp wings, similar to Seregios, that he uses to slice at people. It also seems like his entire body can be electrified, similar to Astalos, so touching this monster is probably not a good idea. And that's about it. Onto his actual good feat, when he shoots lightning into the ground and creates glass. But it's not entirely glass, it's actually something called fulgurite. And fulgurite only really occurs when the lightning itself hits sand. When lightning strikes the ground, on average, the fulgurite created is about a few inches to like a few feet long. Now, I might not be in the game, but that looks to be a hell of a lot bigger than just a few feet. For reference, the longest fulgurite ever recorded was 16 to 17 feet long. Okay, what I'm about to do here is pretty crude and it's not like concrete, but you'll see the vision. This fulgurite right here is the largest that we can see on screen. And compared to the hunter, who let's say we'll give him about 6 feet, above average for what the average male is. And using the hunter, we can deduce that the fulgurite in this shot right here is bigger than the biggest ever recorded fulgurite in our world. Now, you want to hear something even crazier than that? Most, if not almost all fulgurite in our world is recovered by digging into the ground. If you don't know how it works, lightning strikes the ground and the current is sent down into the earth, and fulgurite is formed around the energy in the lightning in the ground. So the biggest ever recorded fulgurite that I just mentioned was when it was struck into the ground and we had to dig it up. Fulgurites are not big on the surface. That means this right here is gigantic. It's essentially the iceberg of lightning strikes. We can only imagine how massive the fulgurite is underneath the ground. Now, I'm not even going to begin to even explain how many joules or the force needed to create something this massive, because one, I ain't got time for that, and that's not the kind of channel this is. But let's use our brains here, right? We can confidently say that Ray Dau's lightning shot right here is actually even more powerful than actual lightning, which could be potentially the most powerful single attack from a monster that isn't an Elder Dragon. And let me use Ray Dau's lightning strike feat to segue into actually what makes him unique. And when I say unique, I mean in the sense of unique in terms of thunder monsters, because this feat of his literally puts him in his own tier of thunder monsters. Let's list off some thunder monsters real quick. Astalos, Fulgurantineth, Zinogre, Kezu, Rajang. And if we're using Elder Dragons, Narwa and Kirin. Ray Dau's feat right here literally blows all those monsters' lightning capabilities out of the water. Actually, let's compare him to who was, in my opinion at least, the strongest thunder user who wasn't an Elder Dragon, Rajang. Now, Rajang's thunder attacks are strong. They very much are strong. But unfortunately, this cinematic from Monster Hunter World put Rajang on fraud alert. The fact that he couldn't even destroy this boulder right here after being supercharged from eating a Kirin's horn really shows that it's actually not that strong.
Man, what the fuck is you talking about?
What the fuck was that?
I'm sorry, man.
Which says something because, again, I believe Rajang's thunder capabilities are stronger than most other monsters. Ray Dau's thunder feat can only be compared to one other monster, and it's an Elder Dragon. You probably know it already. It's Kirin. Because what separates Kirin from all other monsters is that Kirin uses actual lightning. No, like confirmed real lightning. He doesn't really produce it in his body, unlike monsters like Kezu and Astalos who do. He uses his horn as a lightning rod to strike down real lightning. That's why it's so dangerous. And the only reason we haven't seen Kirin do what Ray Dau has done is Probably just because where we see Kieran, he's not really in the sandy plains or anything like that. I'm very confident if Kieran struck sand, it would do the same thing that Ray Dau did. Even with Rajang's durability and thunder resistance, he still got put on his ass by a Kieran attack. Granted, a very strong one, but you look at this, and then you look at what Ray Dau did, and it's pretty much the same thing. If not, in my opinion, Ray Dau's might be even stronger, or at the very least, he can do it more often. Since this instance with Kieran, it was because his horn was taken off. And again, this is against someone like Rajang. Imagine if Ray Dau did this to someone like Astalos. I was going to even say Kezu, but oh my god, Kezu would be cooked.
Kyoshiki, Murasaki.
These monsters that use thunder resistance or not, they are almost going to get obliterated by Ray Dau's hit. And that's why I say he's like in his own tier. But this speaks volumes to Ray Dau, comparing him to an Elder Dragon like Kieran. But I'm gonna have to stop gassing up Ray Dau like right now. I don't think he's using actual lightning. I know you're probably looking at me like crazy, like, what do you mean, Spottable? What do you mean he's not using real lightning? We literally see him getting struck by lightning right here. And I'm gonna tell you, I don't think that's actual lightning. This is kind of getting a little bit side tangent, but I believe that the storms that we see in the trailers and in the games are not created naturally. I believe they're created by a monster. I'm gonna have a theory video all about that coming out kind of soon, but just know that it's not real lightning that Ray Dau is using. But that's okay, because he is shooting out electric currents hard enough to replicate lightning. So it's not real lightning, but he's putting enough force into it to essentially it might as well be real lightning. So with all that being said, where do I think he is on the food chain? Well, he's definitely an apex creature. I don't really see anything out here that'd be able to hunt him, except for me when I get my hands on this game. And in case you need to, a little refresher on what apex creatures are, they're essentially animals that are not prey themselves. But that doesn't mean that you're invincible and you're at the absolute top. A good real life example is boa constrictors and gators in the Everglades in Florida. And in Monster Hunter, there are a lot of apex creatures. You got Nargacuga, you got Barioth, you got Tigrex, Rathalos, Astalos, pretty much all of the Fated Four, Odogaron, Basilgeuse, Seregios. There are a ton. But like with most things, there are levels to these things. So I'd say there are 3 levels to this. Monsters in the bigger tiers can whoop the monsters in the lower tiers. And I believe if you are in the same tier, it's pretty much 50-50 on who's going to win. First level is more like you're just barely considered apex creature. Monsters on this tier are your Nargacugas, your Odogarons, your Barioths, your Legianas, and similar just barely apex monsters. With second tier monsters being ones like Rathalos, Legiacris, Zinogre, and Seregios. And the third tier of apex monsters are the big dogs. I'm talking the Deviljos, the Gammoths, the Acantors, Euconlos. I'm talking the big boys. So where do I think Ray Dau fits in all this? Even though we haven't seen him physically be capable of a lot of things, I'm telling you that one shot puts him instantly above the first tier. And I'm very confident he can do that multiple times, and it's not just the one-time thing. But I have to say that he's just not in the third tier, considering, yeah, it is really just the one move. Monsters who can straight up just tank it because they're big enough. And considering Ray Dau has to charge the shot, very agile monsters will be able to just simply move out of the way. So I'd have to say he's second tier. I definitely do think he's stronger than Rathalos, and he's definitely stronger than someone like Astalos, but he'd have a hard time hitting monsters as agile as like Seregios. And I hope this video kind of brings into light just how strong a monster can be without having, killing an Elder Dragon on screen. Sometimes it's the subtle things that you really have to look at and do some research to really see the value in how strong a monster can be. And me personally, I can't wait to see what this guy's armor looks like. And if you made it all the way at the end of the video, please, for me and Ray Dau, hit the subscribe and the like button. It means so much to me, you have no idea. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. Stay safe, hunters.